And here it is, our
Yeah.
season preview, Just Hoop Talk edition.
Yes,
Here
sir.
with Justin Henry, Will Thompson, and today we're going to be doing our season preview. We're diving into all the teams, ranking them in the division, where they're ranked, and also going over our season awards too. We're going to be talking about who's winning MVP, Coach of the Year, breaking it down. So grab a popcorn, grab a drink, whatever you
Yep.
got in your hands. We're about to get started with our season rankings. And just want to let you guys know too, we have expanded this channel obviously to a network now. So we are Just Hoop Talk Network. And in the very near future, you're going to be seeing some shows. Will's going to be hosting his own show. I'm
Yeah.
going to be hosting his whole show, my own show. Will, do you want to tell people what your show is?
Yeah, my show is going to be the Rooks. So I'm going to be kind of highlighting and profiling rookies throughout the season. There's the obvious guys. We'll be following the main guys, but I want to dig a little deeper and break down some rookies that I think are sleepers, some guys that are in good spots, some people that, players that people aren't thinking about that are going to be fun to watch and fun to look at. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for just the channel to grow in that direction, man, and they get some more programming. I think, to be honest, like there's some decent stuff out there for basketball, but I just don't feel like there's anything consistently coming out with good, solid programming surrounded around basketball. I think ESPN is dropping the ball. I don't think they do a good enough job, bro. I really don't.
Man, I'm with you on that, man. I like
the show. Right. I like the show The Jump. It's cool, but like it's kind of like it feels like almost like a soap opera to me. Like all these dudes talk about is drama. You know what I mean?
Man,
like, they don't talk hoop enough, man.
At the end of the day, I think a lot of times they're maybe attached to storylines to get the ratings.
Yes,
we're just gonna give you the real, man.
Yeah,
we're gonna call it like we see it, man. And that's what I like to do on the show. And that's why my show is gonna be called Cap or Facts with Justin Henry. So Cap or Facts. And what I'm gonna do is talk about some of these storylines, but the real ones though. And ask you guys and ask the question, is it cap or is it facts? Or is it a truth or is it a lie? We're going to dive into some of these interesting topics week by week as the season goes on. But you guys are here for this season preview, so let's get into it. Let's start off in the West. And let's go with the Southwest Division. I want to start there, Will, because Southwest Division right now, there's a lot of question marks about there. Let's start from the bottom and work your way up to the top, talking about this Southwest Division and what that looks like for you.
Yeah, so this is a interesting division. This could go a lot of different ways. This is probably the one that I looked at the most and was like struggling with, but I got at number 5. I got the Spurs at the bottom, and that's hard to do, man. It's hard to put the Spurs at the bottom of anything. Pop is still there. They have some good players, some good vets. They got some young players coming up. But let's look at the teams in front of them. It's going to be tough, man. They didn't do a ton to get better. Everyone else around them got better. So I got them at the bottom. That's tough to say, but that's where I see them.
Yeah, and Pop, man, I'm right there with you. Spurs at number 5, down at the bottom of the division. Unfortunately, I think they're going through a slight rebuild. They have some talented players, though, still. I mean, you got DeMarcus. You still got LaMarcus, and DeMar, along with DeJounte Murray, Derek White. So we got some talent there. But still, I think they are the worst team in this division. Moving forward to number 4, I got the Memphis Grizzlies. I think they had a really good surge last year, and they probably should have been in the playoffs if there hadn't have been the stoppage of the season. But I got the Memphis Grizzlies at number 4. I still think they're a strong team, though.
Yeah, I like the Grizzlies, but I have the Pelicans at number 4. I like the Grizzlies a little bit more than the Pelicans. It's because I like the consistency of Ja Morant.
Yeah.
And I think I'm a little concerned about Zion, man. I really like Zion. I want to like him. But I'm just concerned long-term with the health. How many games can he play? Is he going to play every game? Is he going to be load managing? There's a lot up in the air there. So I see them falling a little bit and landing at number 4.
I gotta disagree with you there, but I'm gonna let you get to your number 3 though.
Yeah, so number 3, I got the Grizz. I think if Jaren Jackson can stay healthy, I like this team a lot, man. If those two guys are healthy, Ja looks like he elevated himself a little bit, got a little bit stronger. He's one of the better point guards in the league, to be honest, already.
Don't say anything about De'Aaron Fox, man. You don't want to cause a stir.
Man, yeah, man. This is not the jump.
Man.
But I got the Grizzlies at number 3.
Okay.
I like that team, man. There's some pieces that I like a lot there as well that I think they're gonna do well this year.
Yeah, I think the Grizz are a very strong team. I just think that the Pelicans made some moves that make them a playoff team, and I'm going to put them, or at least close to a playoff team. We'll give that away yet.
Yeah.
But I got them at my number 3. The Pelicans adding Eric Bledsoe. I also think adding Steven Adams, like those are key pieces that really make that team a little bit more formidable. Defensively, I think they're going to be a lot better.
True.
I like what we saw out of Brandon Ingram last year, and they almost made a playoff run, but without Zion for most of the season. So I think another step from Lonzo Ball, I think another step from Brandon Ingram, and I think the step from Zion has his team right there on the fringe of making the playoffs, and we'll talk about our playoff picks here very soon. Number 2 might be a surprise to some people, but I got the Houston Rockets at number 2. Even with all the drama, all the Harden stuff, this team is still a very good team. And when you talk about Harden, you talk about John Wall, you talk about DeMarcus Cousins, that's 3 superstar caliber players, not to mention the bench, man. You got still Eric Gordon on the bench, PJ Tucker, some of those key playoff pieces from last season. So if they can hold it together, that Rockets team is super good. And when you talk about additions, you mentioned Christian Wood and what he's going to bring to this team. Man, I love what the Rockets can do. Hopefully Harden decides to get out of his own head, make it happen, and stick in Houston.
Yeah, I think I look at this team like I don't think they lost a whole lot. As much as I like Russell Westbrook, I think the Russell Westbrook and John Wall trade was a little bit of a swap just because of the style of play. And then I look,
I don't know.
Then I look at the bigs, and that's where they really made a huge leap for me with picking up Christian Wood, who I think has looked really good in the preseason, is going to be really good. And then DeMarcus looks good as well, man. DeMarcus is knocking down that outside shot. If he can stay healthy, this team looks great, man. The question is, will Harden be there or not for the entire season? That's kind of the question. And does that work? But I like it a lot. That's why I got them at number 2. They're going to be a sleeper team this year for sure.
Yeah, we'll see, man. And the Rockets, to me, if they figure it out, I think it's a good fit for what Harden does anyway. Like, you got John Wall who plays a little bit faster. You got a big down low who can kind of take a little pressure off inside and out. You got Christian Wood who's inside and out. And, I mean, they tried to set Harden up last year with all the shooters, and it's like they got bigs who can shoot now. They don't have to go small ball.
That's true.
They can play a little bit faster.
That's
they can
true.
still play a little small. But now they got the shooters to match. Christian Wood on the outside, that's not Clint Capella anymore. Like, you actually have a shooter that can hit shots. So, man, the Rockets are a good pick. And obviously we both are sticking with the number 1 team, Dallas Mavericks, man. Luka Doncic takes the step forward that he needs to take this team to another place. The only question I have with Dallas is if Luka gets hurt, what happens? What happens with this Dallas team if Luka has any type of setback because it's a shortened season, you know? It's a really shortened season. So if they can't keep Luka healthy through the whole season, there could be a setback and our rankings may be a little bit off.
Yeah, I mean, I have them at number 1 kind of by default, you know?
Yeah.
I think if they're healthy, if everything works, they're a better team. But a lot is up in the air with them. Kristaps Porzingis is probably the biggest question mark, you know? He played really well when Luka was out last year, but can he be healthy? Can he be consistent? They didn't make a ton of additions, but I think you're right, man. This is the year Luka makes a big step and kind of establishes himself. He shows the guy he was in the bubble. If he brings that to this year, there's no doubt this team is the number 1 team in the Southwest. So that's
that Southwest division, man, it can go a few different ways because there's a few young teams there. Yeah, with the Grizz and the Pelicans there, it's really some young teams, but then also those vet teams too. You're looking at the Mavs, you're looking at the Rockets. There's just a lot of question marks with this division. It's one of the more exciting ones to take a look at too.
Yeah.
And he's starting to talk about obviously vet teams or young teams exciting. You can't go without the Pacific Division and talking about these teams. So the Pacific Division is where we're heading to now in the West Coast. We're going to talk about a few teams, and we have somebody who thinks that one team is going to win. Spencer the Gamer talked about Clippers, man. He said Clippers all day in this division. Clippers all day. So this West team, man, this Pacific division is loaded. When you start talking about Lakers, Clippers, Warriors, Suns, full of potential playoff teams. Will, who you got at number 5?
This is painful, man, but I gotta go with the local team, Sacramento Kings, down at number 5.
Man,
and
that's tough.
There was a guy who was getting on us in the comments for our Kings season preview. I don't think he watched the entire video. I think he jumped on us in the comments. I said this is probably a better team than last year. But to me, they didn't get better enough to compete with. I mean, look at this division, bro. Like,
man.
They play these teams. I don't know how the schedule's set up, but they play these teams 4 times this year.
Yeah.
Like, that's a problem for this team, man. It's a problem for the Kings. I like the team. I don't think they're terrible. I like the rookies. I like the additions, but the rest of the division is so tough, man. They're gonna end up at the bottom.
They are going to end up at the bottom. I got them at number 5 too, and it is kind of by default because this division is so stacked. It's not that I think the Kings. I don't think the Kings are the best team right now, but I don't think that they're a 5 bottom tier of the Western Conference team, like type talent.
Most
like
years,
they have,
right? Yeah,
exactly. They have talent. I just think that the West is so tough right now that it's going to take a lot to overcome just to even get into that playoff picture, that bubble. The Kings have some nice pieces, obviously, from last year that are still there that made a nice little run to try to hit that 8 seed and fell short. We'll see how the addition of Halliburton does. We'll also find out what Bagley, Buddy Hield, De'Aaron Fox are able to do without Bogey now. But Kings, sorry, I got you at number 5. At number 4, I got the Phoenix Suns, a team that added Chris Paul. Yes, they added Chris Paul, Devin Booker. They almost made the playoffs last year, and somehow I still have them at number 4. I love what Chris Paul is going to bring to this team. And even at number 4 in the Pacific Division, I'm not sure that that's still not a playoff team. But I got them ranked number 4, man. I think Devin Booker takes a leap. DeAndre Ayton takes a leap. I like their young guys, man. Cam Johnson. They got a nice squad. I got them at number 4.
Damn. At number 4, I have the Golden State Warriors.
What?
I have the Warriors. I think I do not like the way this team is put together. It does not look good to me at all. It does not look good in the preseason. I think there's a reason you're starting to hear trade rumors. I don't think they like it either. I love Steph, man. I want Steph to play well and to prove his legacy. But I think he's in a tough position right now, man. There's just not a lot of other scoring. If you're relying on Andrew Wiggins to be that other guy, but the big question mark is going to be James Wiseman, right? Like, we haven't been able to see him yet. Can he come out and be a scoring threat? Can he shoot it a little bit? Can he stretch the floor out for them? Can he block shots? That's going to be a huge question mark. But for now, without seeing him at all, I got them at number 4, man. It's not looking good.
Man. Oh, man. We were going to get lit up later for that one.
Yeah, I know.
Who you got at number 3?
Number 3, I got the Clippers.
Clippers?
Got the Clippers at number 3.
Okay.
I think there's a lot going on there, man. I think there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than even we know about. Starting to hear the rumors already about Kawhi, where he's going to be next year. You know, he's not giving anything. He's not giving any ground on that type of thing. It's just a circus, man. It's just a mess over there. I want Ty Lue to succeed, but it's a mess. It's a mess, bro. And I don't think that's going to translate well to this season for them at all. Man.
Well, we got the Clips in the same spot, man. I got the Clippers here at number 3, and there's a lot that concerns me. I know our guy Spencer said Clips all day, but this team does not have a very good setup to me. It has a very similar setup to last year, and I think the season doesn't set up very well for him either. With the back-to-back games, we got to see is Kawhi going to play in back-to-backs? Is Paul George playing back-to-backs? And is this team deep enough to make a run? I mean, they lost some key pieces there with Trez leaving. And, it remains to be seen if Serge can kind of just take that spot and really blend. I think we talked about chemistry issues in our season preview for this team. And that's something that remains to be seen.
Did they solve that? It doesn't seem like
It doesn't seem like it, man. Paul George is still out there doing, talking in the media all offseason. So I got the Clippers at number 3. We'll see. And coming in at number 2, obviously, I got the Golden State Warriors. Golden
Damn.
State Warriors at number 2, and I think with you have Steph on your team, you got a chance, man.
Yeah.
This team, I think a lot of people sleep on the fact that when KD was out, this was still a playoff team. This was still a championship quality team. And you lose a player like Klay Thompson, it hurts. But when you can add 2 pieces, when you add an Andrew Wiggins, when you add a Kelly Oubre, when you add a James Wiseman, that makes that lineup a whole lot more formidable. So James Wiseman, I think, will be a big key. If he can play like a starter, he doesn't have to play like an all-star. He can just play like a starter and bring something to this team as the number 2 pick. I definitely think that this Warriors team will be playing some late season basketball this coming up this spring.
Damn. All right. At number 2, I have the Suns, and I really like the Suns, man. I love what Chris Paul did last year. I honestly think this is a better team this year. I think the ceiling for DeAndre Ayton is really high.
It
He
is.
looked really good in preseason. I think Chris Paul is going to help him a lot, and I'm looking for Devin Booker to really take that next step this year, man.
Yeah.
And really establish himself as a superstar. If he can do that with the addition of Chris Paul and Jay Crowder too, right?
Yeah.
And the addition of Jay Crowder, I really like the way things are set up for them. The one downside
you think Devin Booker can take that next step? You think there's another level for Devin Booker?
Yeah, I do. I think, to me, he seems like he has that killer instinct. To me, he started to show it a little bit in the bubble, right? Getting the game winners, leading that team to going 8-0. Obviously, they snuck up on a lot of people, but I think he has that killer instinct. I think he has that mama mentality.
Yeah.
That I think I really want to see that turn on for him this year. I think that's going to be big. If he can do that, that's going to be a tough team to beat, man. They got youth. They have veteran experience. They got some size down low. They got great guard play. Watch out for the Suns, man.
The Suns, man. Well, man, I don't have them that high, but I can see your point, man. It seems like a team that I think those three teams to me are interchangeable. If you pick one at 2 of them, you pick one of them at 4. It's just a tough division. And obviously at the top of that division, we both have the same team again. The Los Angeles Lakers, defending champions. Got to always mention that when I can. The defending champion Los Angeles Lakers, man. This team obviously retooled for this season. Schroeder and Montrezl Harrell added to the team. I think Kyle Kuzma takes a big step forward this year too as well. And being able to kind of take that when LeBron and AD need pressure off them for this tight season, I think that Kuzma is going to be able to make that happen. So I like the Lakers at the number 1 spot.
Yeah, that's a great point, man. The young guys really got to step up this year. It's going to be interesting to see what the Lakers do as far as like game management, time management, managing LeBron, managing the older players. I really think AD is going to play a bigger role probably this year than he even did last year. And I think he's really got to establish himself as not necessarily the leader. We know LeBron's the leader of the team, right? But AD's got to put more on his shoulders this year. He's a younger guy. He's got less miles on. He's got to be able to take on more, take some pressure off of LeBron so that we can see that deeper playoff run. I like THT too, man. That's a big that's a big deal for them to have another guy who can come off the bench and get buckets. So like you said, like Kuzma, those young guys really got to step up and fill the void, because I just can't imagine LeBron playing all 72 games and playing it's hard to imagine that.
Those back-to-backs they're going to pile up, and even AD, AD is going to miss games, getting nicked up here and there. It's just the nature of how he plays. So that Pacific Division's tough, bro. And
that's
the last
one
in the
best
West
in the basketball, bro. I really think that's the best division.
Yeah, there's a couple tough divisions, man, but that team has four teams that could legit make a really deep playoff run in that division. But we're gonna move on to the Northwest now. Northwest Division. This is another me. This is another very tough division, man. Who you got at number 5? Because this is you got the Nuggets, the Blazers, OKC Thunder, the Jazz, the T-Wolves. Yeah. This is an interesting division too.
Yeah, so I have the Thunder down at 5, and the thing about the Thunder is I don't think they're going to be a terrible team. I know a lot of people are like, they traded everybody, they're going to be garbage. I don't think so, man. For whatever reason, they have they have their culture, whatever it is. They move people, they trade superstars, they get rid of guys, they come back, and they're still a playoff team. They've been doing it year after year. So I think this team is going to be competitive. they have some decent pieces. Like they really do. Shai is still there. He's still an emerging player. I'm blanking on who else is there, but last time I was looking, I was like, they got a nice little team, man. They're
Yeah.
not going to be an easy out at all, but I think they're going to finish last in the division now.
Well, you start to think they added some vets to the team. So they got like Al Horford, Trevor
Al
Ariza,
Horford, yes.
George Hill. It's like they added some of those vet pieces, but then you even start to think about pieces from last year. You talk about Diallo, you talk about Dort, some players that were making their way from the bench, man.
Baisley,
and it's like
Baisley,
man, Darius Baisley. I think he's going to have a huge year this year for that team. And when you're talking about the OKC Thunder, I got him at number 5 as well. I think that they are a promising team, not a good team. They're a promising team, and they don't have that leadership from Chris Paul there right now, so it's not like he can just take them to the next level. This seems like a team that's going to have to go through some growing pains. They're probably going to play a lot of their young guys throughout the season, you might see Horford and George Hill regulated to the bench later in the year. OKC Thunder, number 5 overall. They had an okay offseason, but when you're stockpiling on picks, I can't pick you to be any higher than number 5.
No way.
My number 4 team, I actually really like this team. It's just the West is so tough. The Minnesota Timberwolves, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I got the Minnesota Timberwolves at number 4, man. And I don't think that this is a bad basketball team. I just think that there's a lot of other teams better than them. The Minnesota Timberwolves, I think we're going to see Edwards come in there. And what's he going to bring to this table? You know, is D'Angelo Russell and Cat, are they finally going to get that third piece? Is he going to be their Devin Booker that they didn't get?
Right.
Is Jarrett Culver going to kind of take that next step into emerging into what we want him to be? There's a lot of question marks with this Timberwolves team. And obviously, Cat, we're going to see how he plays this season playing with the heavy heart. So I got the T-Wolves at number 4, but make no mistake, this isn't a team that I would want to rank down there. It's by default I have to.
Right, yeah. I'm in the same situation, man. I wanted to put them higher because I like the pieces that they have. I like what they're doing, and my hope is that they don't blow it up, that they don't destroy it or tear it down after the season, right? Like if they end up in that 10th seed or that 9th seed or 4th in the division, like I hope the franchise doesn't freak out, the fan base doesn't freak out, and they stay patient, they stick with what they've been building, and they continue to build from there, because this is just a tough year, man. It just really is. And I like their foundation. I like their pieces. Just be patient, Minnesota. Please be patient, because it could grow into something special. But this year, it's tough, man. It's not going to happen.
You want to see something. You want to see something from the team. It's just going to be a tough season for them overall in general, man.
Yeah.
Well, moving forward, we both have same number 5, same number 4. I got the Utah Jazz at number 3.
Damn.
Got the Utah Jazz there at number 3. And this team was a playoff team. We saw Donovan Mitchell, man, go hard in the playoffs, man. He wants it. It's just I think that there's a couple other teams better than them, man. And I think the Jazz, they didn't really improve a whole lot in the offseason. You're looking for teams to make moves or improve or change something too. When you're walking in with the same core that you had last year, that's tough, man, because now you're expecting the same result most of the time or worse. When everybody else gets better, you're either going to go stay level or you're going to get worse. And I'm not sure if this team is better than they are last year. And another year older doesn't make you another year better in this league, especially when it's this competitive in the West.
Yeah, I have the Jazz at number 3 as well. And the reason is, like you said, they didn't get better, and some other people did. Some other people in their own division got better this year.
Yeah.
And they didn't. They weren't aggressive. I don't know that they had any pieces necessarily to move, but they didn't make any moves. And because of that, I don't know where they were. I'm assuming they were number 2 last year, so they're going down a spot.
Yeah.
In my book. So at number 2, I have the Portland Trailblazers. Yeah. I like the Trailblazers, man. I know a lot of people are I think a lot of people are sleeping on this team. And we talked about this in their season preview. Just 2 years ago, they were in the Western Conference Finals, bro. That's how good they are when they're healthy. And they're coming into the season healthy. They're coming into the season hot, too. Dame Lillard is absolutely on fire. They made some great additions. They got better defensively with Covington. They got some young guys who really proved themselves. I love Gary Trent, man. I think he's a great piece. Proved himself in the bubble. They look great. They're scary. Nurk is back, healthy.
Nurk is
They're going to be
back.
a problem. They're going to be a problem, man, for sure.
Yeah, and I think it depends on what we see out of Damian Lillard this year,
Yeah.
and I think there's very high expectations. At least from my end, I think that this is a huge year for Damian Lillard. One of those MVP type seasons, as we stated on the season preview. I think it's just the moment that he takes his team to another level. He's already done that in the past, but I think we see an explosion out of him this year. And when you add other pieces to this equation too, like a Robert Covington, somebody that can come in, play lockdown defense, a little bit younger than Ariza, but still play lockdown defense, hit a bucket when necessary. This team is scary, man. I think that they can beat anybody in the West. Any 7-game series, I think you have a chance when you got a guy like Damian Lillard. They added some depth with Enes Kanter there. Like, I really like what this team is building there in Portland.
Yeah, that's
Melo's
point,
back too. Like
Melo,
this is a good team, man.
Melo accepting his role coming off the bench is big for them too.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to take as much of a load on. He can come off the bench. Just come in and get buckets, bro. Strictly come in and get buckets. Just focus on that. That's so much easier for him. They're in a good spot. So at number 1, obviously by default, the Denver Nuggets, man.
Denver Nuggets.
We talked about them on their season preview as well. If you guys haven't seen the season previews, definitely make sure to go back and check those out. We've done almost every team in the league.
In depth too, not just skimming through. We're talking about what they did in the past, the key additions, coaching changes, front office, what we expect them to do this year. Check that stuff out, man. We put some time into it.
That's gold, man. We've had people like true fans of fan bases be like give us props on our breakdowns of teams. So you gotta check that out. But we talked about a little bit. They didn't do a whole lot, but we didn't feel like they needed to.
Right.
They needed to develop what they have. They've been building a young core for a while. They need to give these young guys opportunities to really step up and really elevate themselves this year. So they have some really intriguing young pieces that can really set themselves apart this year. They're going to be at the top of the West. I really do think that. They were last year, but especially this year.
Yeah, and I got him number 1 too, obviously. When you talk about the development of key pieces, you see Jamal Murray's improvement in the bubble. I think this team has high expectations for him moving forward. And then also Michael Porter Jr., man, really emerging in the bubble, showing what his true value is. And don't forget about some of their young pieces too. We talk about a guy like Bol Bol, even though they lost Jeremy Grant, they lost Mason Plumlee. It's like they need these guys to develop off the bench.
Right.
Love what this team has. And obviously they still have their vets too, the vet pieces who have been there. And when you got one of the best players in the world, Nikola Jokic, you got a chance, man. You got a chance to win it. He proved that last year in the playoffs. You got him on your team. There's a lot that can go right. You can even come back from a 3-1 deficit if necessary. So I got the Nuggets as my number 1 team. Number 1 team, man. So let's go through. You want to go through the playoffs right now, or you want to go to the East?
Let's do the East. Let's do the Central.
Let's go to the East, man. So we're going to head out east to the Central Division. And, man, the Central Division, not as fun, man.
This is the bottom of the NBA right here, man. It really
It's sad to say, too, because this is once one of the best divisions in all of basketball, man. It's sad and it's sad to see what it's become, man. But this Central Division is interesting because there's still one really dominant team there in the Milwaukee Bucks. But let's go over all the teams.
Okay.
Coming in at number 5, I got the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is a team, on paper, they look like they should be better. High draft picks in the last 3 years. You're talking about Colin Sexton, Darius Garland. They got some good pieces there. And then obviously paired up with Kevin Love, with Andre Drummond. Like, you would think this team's going to be a little bit better. I got them at number 5, though. I don't really see a whole lot of change as far as record goes. This team to me is a bottom-tier team in the league.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused as to what they're even doing in Cleveland. It seems like they keep drafting guards. Okoro this year is another guard. I feel like they have a ton of guards. So I'm really confused as to what they're trying to achieve in Cleveland. I mean, a young team, a lot of talent for sure. And then with Drummond there. But I'm just confused as to the direction. And the East got better. I don't feel like they got better. So they're at the bottom for me. Because kind of by default, like, they're, I just don't see it, man. I don't see it.
Cavs, man. As soon as LeBron left, the whole thing changed. He came, changed it around, and then he left. Same thing happened, man. Number 4, I got the Detroit Pistons. Detroit Pistons, man, they made some moves this offseason too, and they just weren't the kind that you would expect a team to make. Obviously, they let Christian Wood go. Brought in Jeremy Grant, which was an interesting move to me. And then they also brought in Mason Plumlee. They brought in another big, I couldn't figure it out what they were doing. They already had Blake Griffin there too. So it seemed like, to me, they were just adding repetitive pieces, and it didn't really make sense. And then drafted Killian Hayes out of there. I don't know. I think they have a good future, maybe, but I think he's going to be a good player. It's just going to be a tough situation in Detroit this year.
Yeah, they don't have they don't really have anyone that's like emerging as a star or anyone you're really excited to watch kind of coming up. Killian looks like a nice player, but is he better than Derrick Rose? I don't think so.
Yeah,
they got Derrick Rose coming off Derrick Rose coming off the bench now. It's just they're just one of those teams, man. Like, you just wonder kind of what's going on there, exactly what direction they're going. It's a little confusing. I'm not even going to pretend to be a Pistons fan or a Pistons follower, so I don't know exactly what's going on there. But it does, from the outside looking in, it doesn't look great. And that's the reason they're number 4 on in the Central Division.
Yeah, and it's tough because you would think with a team with Blake Griffin there, with Derrick Rose there, would have a little bit better results. I just don't see it happening this year, and I think there's a few teams in their division a little bit better. Moving to number 3, who you got?
I got the Bulls.
Bulls.
Got the Bulls at number 3.
Sounds like we're doing this one the same top to bottom.
I think they got better this year. I think they got better than the other 2 teams behind them. I like the pick of Billy Donovan. I like him as a coach, man. I think that's going to be good for them. I still think they have some good young pieces that can still turn. I really like Lauri Markkanen. I want to really see him develop into a star that I think he could be a kind of, a big guy that can shoot, can handle it a little bit. Like, he should be really good. So hopefully Billy Donovan can help his development. Some young players, I'm not sure about who they drafted. Patrick Williams.
Yeah.
I was really surprised by that. But I don't know. Maybe they're seeing something that I'm not seeing. But this one's almost by default as well. Like, they're just not as bad as those other teams, so they move up into the 3rd spot. But there's not a ton to look forward to, except for Billy Donovan maybe pushing some buttons, moving some things, making things work a little better than that.
Well, I think that is going to be the difference. Is Billy Donovan does kind of bring a different energy, and the good thing about this Bulls team is that they're young. So hopefully they respond well, kind of have that college atmosphere, that Billy Donovan's used to. When you talk about Kobe White, you talk about Zach LaVine, you talk about Wendell Carter, like, these are young guys who probably need a little bit of a push. And it seemed like they were kind of bullying the coach last year. It was like, saw Zach LaVine kind of like waving him off at times. Like, it didn't seem right. And then you also saw the addition of like Otto Porter last year just not pan out. It just didn't pan out. So I think they're looking for that defensive wing. It's why they added Patrick Williams there. And obviously Otto Porter, he got to take a big step up. Otherwise, this team is going to be in the exact same place they were last year. And that's, on Zach LaVine's shoulders and probably moving somebody at the deadline.
Yeah.
At number 2, obviously, I don't have the Bucks there. I got the Indiana Pacers. This is a good basketball team. This is a really good basketball team, and I think that they're going to make some improvements, getting Depot back up to speed. I like Sabonis. I like Turner. I'm glad they were able to keep both of them, and then Brogdon as well. Really like this team. I think that they have a chance to make the playoffs and contend again. I'm not sure if they are in that upper echelon of teams, but I think they'll be contending for a playoff spot, definitely playing in the bubble. Indiana Pacers at number 2.
Yeah, I think this is one of those teams that they're in a position where they just want to see what they have, They want to see what they have with all their guys healthy, with Depot being healthy, with having all the other guys there healthy. I know there was a lot of trade rumors, but hopefully that's all been ironed out. Let's just see what they are. Let's see what they really are. All of them on the court, healthy together. Is this a top 3 team? I mean, there was times where they looked like they're damn near a top 3 team in the East. Now the East got better, but they have the potential to be that good of a team, and they really have some really solid pieces. They got a big who can shoot, couple bigs who can shoot, stretch the floor. They got a all-star guard with Depot. They got a really solid point guard, a distributor with Brogdon. So they have the pieces for sure. Just now is the year where we're going to see it all kind of come together. Does it really work or does it not?
And the Holiday brothers too, man. These teams, they're good, man. Like, this is a good team, a good basketball team. I like the Pacers, man. And obviously, we both got the same team at the top, right? The Bucks.
Yep.
What do you like about the Bucks this year?
I like Giannis about the Bucks this year, man. For whatever reason, he is incredible. He's unguardable in the regular season, bro. And I don't think that's going to change this year. It's hard for teams to prepare for him in the regular season. He's really hard to defend on a regular basis.
Well, until he gets to the Heat.
Yeah, exactly. What's crazy is I think they got better defensively with Drew Holiday. I really do think they got better defensively. I think so. They're still long. They're still big. They're still really tough defensively. I don't see anything changing. You know, I think if anything, they got better. So I still have them at the top for sure.
Yeah, definitely like to upgrade Drew Holiday over Eric Bledsoe. I think they're very similar players, though. So I'm not sure that'll be like too much of an upgrade, but I think you get a slightly more offense with Drew Holiday, a little bit more size and length. Even though Eric Bledsoe's a pretty long player too.
He was long.
But at least I think with Drew Holiday, you get somebody that's probably a little bit better defensively, a little bit better offensively. You get that little bit of edge that you need in a tough Eastern Conference. So we're going to move from the Central, and we're going to go to the Atlantic Division. There have been some moves, man. There have been some moves. I like this division. I like this division a lot. And so who we got at number 5?
At number 5, I got the New York Knickerbockers down at the bottom again.
Always, man.
It's another team that's just kind of confusing. Like, what are they doing? What's the direction? What's the goal? Who are they building around? I have no idea. Are they building around Obi Toppin? Probably not. Is it RJ Barrett? Probably not. I know the young guy Quickly. A lot of people are really excited about Quickly. He looks good, but to me, he reminds me of like Alonzo Trier, bro. Like he's like a newer version of Alonzo Trier. Like he's just a young guy who's a good scorer who they're gonna put all their hopes into, and you know what I mean. Like it's just tough on those guys, man. I don't know. I don't know what else.
Dude, we don't spend too much time on the Knicks, man. Their team, they're going to be at the bottom. I mean, they got some bigs, but they got repetitive bigs. You talk about Mitchell Robinson, Nerlens Noel. Like, they're the same player. You got Frank Ntilikina, you got Quickly, you got RJ Barrett. It's just like a team of I don't know what. It just looks like was a team, you know? So
Julius
for me, like to me, this team, I'm good off talking about the Knicks, man. They've already got too much time in our segment.
Yeah.
Moving on. This is probably going to shock some people. The number 4 team that I got, the Toronto Raptors.
Wow.
This team was in the finals 2 years ago and contending in the Eastern Conference last year. I think that this is a good team. I think that these other teams are just taking a step forward, whereas the Toronto Raptors are just like slowly sinking down. They're losing a small piece in Ibaka. You lose a small piece in Gasol. And now you have to start to rely on the young guys, the Chris Bouchers a little bit more, the OG Anubis a little bit more. It's just I feel like this is one of those ships that it was there. I like the framework, obviously. You got to trust in what they're doing in the front office and the coaching. Nick Nurse is one of the best coaches in basketball, but it feels like it's slowly starting to sink down. I got him at number 4.
I have at number 4, I have the 76ers at number 4, bro.
Ooh, okay.
This talk about ships sinking, bro. Like, I think this is going to be a make it or break it year for Joel and Ben Simmons, man.
Yeah.
And I personally, I think they're going to be active at the trade deadline. I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it working. I don't care how good of a coach Doc Rivers is. It just doesn't seem like it fits to me. And this is a situation that's just waiting to explode, waiting to fall apart. And I think this might be the year that it happens. But they could, they could be number 2. Honestly, they have enough talent. They have all the pieces there. They could be the number 2 team. They're that talented for sure. But if I have to predict, I'm not putting my money on that thing working out well over there. So I got them at number 4. And then at number 3, I have the Raptors. I think they're the exact opposite of the 76ers. I think they have great culture. They got great coaching. Not that the 76ers have bad coaching, but Nick Nurse has his guys, right? Those are his guys. Those are the guys that he wants there. They fit his system. They fit what he's doing. They looked really interesting to me in the preseason. They're going to come out firing. They're going to be shooting a lot of threes. They're going to be getting to the basket a lot. It's going to be really interesting. I think for whatever reason, this team is always tough, man. They're always going to play you tough. They're always going to
They're
be in
gritty.
games. They got enough guys there that, yeah, they're gritty. I really like the rookie there. I'm blanking on his name now. Damn it, I should have wrote it down. From San Diego State, the rookie, he's a shooter.
Yeah.
He fits right into what they're doing. I like their pieces, so I got them at number 3, above the 76ers.
See, I got them a little bit lower, and I think you mentioned something about the Sixers, man. I got them at number 3. You mentioned something about the Sixers that I think they realized they had. And you talked about chemistry issues. You talked about just not having that solid locker room. And what I like about the Sixers is that I think that they extremely addressed that. They said, this is a problem. We're going to address it. We're going to change our GM. So we're going to get to Morey. We're going to add him there with Elton Brand so they can do things together. We're going to change our coach, stronger coach with Doc Rivers, somebody who has a presence. They also added some key veteran pieces that I think are super underrated. We talked about Seth Curry, but then you also mentioned a Danny Green, Dwight Howard, like championship pieces. When you add that to a culture, now it's about we are winning. It's not about who's right between Embiid and Simmons. This is a winning culture that you're starting to build. I like the moves that they made because they've brought in championship pieces as opposed to just having a bunch of players who have played together and they're good. It's like, now, okay, let's show you guys how to win. Let's show Embiid. Let's show Simmons what this work ethic looks like in order to win a championship.
That's a damn good point, man.
Yeah, and then at number 2, I got to go with the Celtics, man. Boston Celtics. They're there in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Couple plays away from being in the finals, man. But this Boston Celtics team suffered a big loss to me with the loss of Gordon Hayward. I think that was a bigger loss than people are going to realize. Even though he didn't have so much of an impact in the playoffs, it just takes an extra layer off of what these guys have to do throughout the season. What Tatum's going to have to endure, Jaylen Brown's going to have to endure, Marcus Smart's going to have to endure. It's going to be a long season for him, especially after going so far last year just to come up a bit short. I like this team. I love Tatum's toughness, but in the end, I think this team is going to be the number 2 team in this division.
Yeah, for me, they weren't even like a lock at number. I got them at number 2, but they weren't even a lock at number 2 just because they lost so much, man. They're asking a lot of their young guys. They're asking a lot of these guys, which, I mean, we could be wrong. They could be, JJ could be like, throw the team on my back. I got this. We're winning 50-something games this year, but I don't see it, man. They're another team that they have all these assets. You wonder what exactly they're doing with these assets and what they're doing with these pieces. I don't know. I always like the moves that Danny Ainge had been making, but up to this point, I'm kind of confused. What are you doing with the draft picks? Drafting a bunch of guards. It doesn't really. I'm not looking forward to this team's future at all.
Yeah,
like they got 2 guys who are really good. Kemba Walker, who's good as well. And then there's a pretty big drop off from there. You know what I mean? So they're not deep. I don't love it, but they have 2 really great. They have 1 great player and 1 really good player that are going to carry them up to that number 2 seat for sure.
Yeah, and I think the Celtics, obviously, they're a good team. They lost some pieces. Wanamaker was a good piece that they lost. I think that was a big key. Cantor, I don't know what they were doing with them last year. Didn't use them. So hopefully we get to see Time Lord, Robert Williams kind of take that next step. Celtics at number 2. And the number 1 team, obviously, we got to talk about it. Our favorite, both of us in this division, the Brooklyn Nets. And obviously the addition of KD is what's driving this. This is a good basketball team. KD and Kyrie adding them to the puzzle. The one question I have with them, can Steve Nash coach this team the right way? It's going to be a long season, but when you got 2 studs like that, I think it's going to make for a good fit no matter what, especially when you have D'Antoni sitting there on the bench next to you. I like the Nets at number 1.
Yeah, I think the highlights the other night, I think matches like, man, they are scary, bro. And that's a great point. Like, them at their best, they're unbelievably good. But if things get difficult, if they lose some games they're not supposed to lose, if, someone's not getting enough shots, if someone's upset or things aren't going great, then what happens with this team? That's where the real questions are going to come in. But if you look at this team, man, they had,
You know what I mean? Kyrie's over there blowing sage in the garden. You got KD's probably going to go to Twitter at some point. Like, you would like to think these guys are maturing, but at the same time, they're still doing the same stuff. It's going to keep happening.
Yep. So that's going to be the real question. But if you look at the team, man, like Karis LeVert came off the bench and was going crazy off the bench. You're like,
balling.
man, Karis LeVert is coming off their bench, bro. Like, he's coming off the bench getting buckets. They have,
He's an all-star.
bro,
Karis LeVert's an all-star.
He really is. It's crazy to just like look at the team and look at the guys coming off the bench. Like Jared Allen's coming off the bench. Jared Allen's a really good big man, dude. So there's no question about the
Spencer
depth.
Dinwiddie. Like Dinwiddie could have been an all-star last year. I think he was in the all-star voting last year.
Yeah. So they got guys who can get buckets. They got guys who can come out and defend. They got guys who can come out and rebound. It really is just going to be all up here for them, you know?
Yeah.
Can they make sure to stay on track and stay focused on the goal?
Man, the Nets, man, wrapping up the Atlantic Division there. That was a good division, dude. I think that there's going to be a lot of excitement in that division. Last but not least, we're going to head southeast. I did not mean to rhyme that, but we're going to head southeast to the Southeast Division and talk about some teams that are on the rise, too, and made some changes. Let's start off first with number 5. I'll go ahead and start off with that one. Yeah. The Charlotte Hornets. This is a team that is going to be competitive, though.
Yeah,
I think Hornets fans will be excited about the prospects of this team. They're going to see a lot of lobs, a lot of dunks with this LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges combo. You also mentioned, when Gordon Hayward, you bring him into the fray. Like, this is going to be a fun team to watch. I'm sure it kind of reminds me of the Kings in the West.
Oh, so much, dude. Yeah.
They're going to be a fun team to watch. They're going to have some growing pains. They could be competitive against some top teams, but they're probably going to be in the lower end of the division and the conference. I think the Hornets are going to be fun to watch, though. And LaMelo Ball, I think is going to be a very, very fun player for a long time.
Yeah. Bro, your comparison to the Kings is almost dead on because they have a bunch of pieces and you don't necessarily know if they all fit together, right? Like, I love Terry Rozier, I love Devontae Graham, but also love LaMelo Ball. And so they have 3 point guards. And if you bring LaMelo Ball off the benches, are you really getting the most out of LaMelo Ball? You know what I mean? But will those other guys accept their role coming off the bench? And then like Gordon Hayward and Miles Bridges, who are really similar, like position type players, as well as PJ Washington. They've had a bunch of guys who all kind of like, but you want to see those guys on the court. You want to see PJ Washington on the court. And you want to see Miles Bridges because he's good, but you also like, you have Gordon Hayward. They have all these pieces, man. And you're just like, how does it all work together? How does it all make sense? You know what I mean? And I don't know that it does in there, but really exciting pieces, really good players. But I don't know if it necessarily translates to like winning games.
To wins, you know? Right? To wins is what matters.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, who you got number 4?
I have the Orlando Magic at number 4. I think the biggest difference between them and the Hornets is I think Aaron Gordon is a star. I really do think he's a star player. He's looked really good. So I think he's looked really good so far in the preseason. He looks like a guy who wants to come out and be a star and really establish himself as a star. I'm not going to call him a superstar, but I think he's going to be playing at like an all-star level this year. So I think that's the biggest difference between these two teams, but I don't have them like head and shoulders above the Hornets. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think they're coached a little better, and they just probably all around, overall have a better team. I'm blanking on his name. Is it Vucevic?
Yeah, Nikola Vucevic.
Yeah, Vucevic. Yeah, definitely. They're an interesting team. I'm not crazy about them.
Yeah,
but
you get in this team. You get in this team, and you talk about a playoff team that was there, man, and they got to play some games. And Nikola Vucevic is a great player. Like he's an all-star player in this league too. And you start even think about developing players like. You talk about Kim Birch, you talk about Markelle Fultz, you talk about Evan Fournier, Aaron Gordon. Like this is a team that's there, but at the same time, like, is it enough? Is it enough with these superstars that have been added to this team and these new kind of power teams that are starting to come out here in the East? Like, I just don't know if it's enough. I think they were able to wiggle in there last year with a lot of injuries and. I think that just with a lot of people probably not taking them seriously for a while, you saw some teams drop off. But this team, to me, is a bottom 5 team in the East. I think they overachieved last year, and I'm not sure that they'll be able to replicate that this year. I don't think it's a bad team, just not a playoff team in my opinion.
I think losing DJ Augustine was big for them, bro. Like I really do.
They try to replace him with Cole Anthony. I don't know if it's going to work just quite yet, though.
Yeah, I want to say I really like what Markelle Fultz is doing. I'm glad to see him on the court. He looks happy. He looks like he's enjoying. He's comfortable
And he
playing
got
basketball. That's
paid. He
great to
got
see.
paid
Yeah,
too, man.
that too. And I like Cole Anthony, but yeah, the leadership, the veteran, kind of leadership of DJ Augustine, I think is going to be missed from this team. And I think they're on outside looking this year.
Yeah. Good call. And at number 3, I think you're kind of looking at that same veteran presence, but in a positive way. I think when you bring a Russell Westbrook to this team, somebody who has a little bit of energy, I got the Wizards at number 3. I think this is a good basketball team too, and this is going to be a scary team come playoff time.
Yeah.
They're loaded. They're loaded.
Yeah.
Their 5 is loaded. When you got Russell Westbrook, Brad Beal, got Bertans, you got Roy Hachimura. I mean, this team is stacked. Thomas Bryant down low. Like, this team is going to be able to put points on the board and be able to defend too. So I like what this team's going to be able to do. And obviously, when you're talking about rookies, you got to talk about Denny, bringing some outside shooting to the team, Denny Avila. And we'll see how this team puts it all together, man.
Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting team, man. Like, I have them at 3 as well, but I think if things go well for them, they could be higher. And I think Russell Westbrook will be the biggest difference maker for them, right? Like, if he's playing at a damn near MVP type level, you might see them pop up a little bit more in the East than we're kind of predicting. But overall, I got them at number 3. A lot of their pieces are still really young. Benny's still really young. Rui is I mean, he's not super young, but he's still obviously newer in the league. He's
younger,
really younger. He hasn't completely established himself yet. So if those young pieces can pan out, along with Russ, along with B. Beal, this is a really good team, man. Because like you said, Thomas Bryant's playing well. Bertas is obviously he's a solid big. They got some good pieces. Ish Smith coming off the bench, getting buckets. They're gonna put up points. They're gonna put up points for sure. We know that.
Yeah.
So it comes out, can they defend people? Really is the question.
And you know, team. Wizards fans are excited about getting Denny, man. If he could turn into another, I think everybody wants him to be Luka again. He's not going to be that, but he's going to be a damn good shooter. And I think that this team is going to do some damage in the playoffs, man. They're going to surprise the team.
You know who I like to compare Denny to, and some people might not remember this dude, and so it might not make sense, but I like to compare him to Hito. He reminds me a lot of Hito Turkoglu. Like, don't put the Luka thing on him. Like, leave him alone.
Not yet.
Do his thing. Like,
let him earn it.
Look at Hito. Hito was a really good player. Can handle the ball a little bit. Can shoot it a little bit. Can create off the dribble. Maybe he's the next Hito. That's not a bad thing.
We'll see. We'll see about that. I don't know. That's a big gap. Hito's a good player, but that's a big gap. Yeah. Hito to Luka. The team that didn't get Luka is my number 2, the Atlanta Hawks. Yeah. The Atlanta Hawks, man, this is going to be a good team, man. This is going to be a fun team. We talked about them at length in our season preview. Make sure you check it out. The Atlanta Hawks, to me, are going to be a scary team. When you talk about being 10 deep, you talk about a solid bench, you talk about additions like Danilo, Bogey, Rondo. This team already had good pieces in place. And Trae Young, if he is able to take that next step and actually assert himself on the defensive end, I think they brought some defensive pieces around him. But if he's able to assert himself on the defensive end and play a little bit more point guard than we've seen him play in the past, I think this Hawks team is destined for a strong season.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of toughness. I don't know if you saw Trae Young the other night shoving Grayson Allen out of bounds.
Yeah, I'd like to see that, though, you know?
I was like, all right, Trae. That's what they need, bro. That's really what they need. It's really him to establish himself, take himself to that next level. You see guys kind of knocking him around a little bit, pushing him around at times. Like, nah, man, you're that dude, Trae. You average damn near 30 and 10. This is your team. Take the bull by the horns and lead them to the promised land. You want to see that from this guy. He's going to be the difference maker. But they got some great pieces, man. Obviously, I've been a big Rondo fan, so I love that pickup there. Bogey for sure. So many great pickups. The young fella. I can't think of his name.
You talking about Reddish?
No, Reddish. They drafted.
Okungwa.
Yeah,
Onyeka Okungwa.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Onyeka Okungwa.
Yep.
I like this team, man. They're going to be
Man, these
fun.
Hawks, they're exciting,
Yeah,
bro. The
they're
Hawks are
fun to
exciting to
watch.
me, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like they got the shooting, they got the defense,
Yep.
they have all the pieces, man, to be a strong team, to be like the Heat were last year. People
Yeah.
were sleeping on the Heat last year when they had the
True.
young depth mixed with the veterans. And this team seems like the exact same setup. When you talk
Man,
about
that's
some
a
of these
great
pieces, the
point.
Capellas, the John Collins, man, like, and I mean, people forget they had a number 4 pick last year, man. DeAndre Hunter, like
Yeah.
he's just chilling there, ready to go. Like,
Yep.
I love what this team has, man.
Yeah.
The Hawks, my number 2 team, man. I feel like this is number 2 team. And number 1, you got to go
Yeah.
to the well, man. I think we both have the
Boom.
same team there, Miami Heat. What's your thoughts on them this year?
Yeah. I think we talked about them in their team preview. We talked about how they didn't do a ton of additions, but I like their young core, and I like the development of their young core.
Yeah.
Bam really establishing himself. I think he has the opportunity to really establish himself as a superstar, and then Tyler Hero really establishing himself as a star in this league. That's going to be big for them, man. That's really going to be big. I think at times you saw Jimmy Butler had to try to do too much last year.
Right.
And they really need someone else to be able to step up and score consistently. And so that's going to be a big question mark for them this year. But I think they have the young pieces to do it. And I got them at number 1, man. I don't see a reason to take them down.
I think that's the thing is you just don't coming off of a strong finals appearance. There's just not a reason to take them down. They kept most of their core pieces, and I mean when you talk about Jimmy, Hero, and Bam, if there's another bubble scenario, these guys are going to be locked in. We know that. Yeah. And then the only thing I think they are going to miss is losing Jay Crowder. That was a bigger piece than people realize. I think as far as defensively being able to kind of lock in there and be one of those tougher pieces down low. But they have a lot of young pieces too. Young shooters, especially coming in the wings. Yeah. So this team's probably going to have some of that youth show a little bit more this year. So it depends. I think that they are a stronger team than the rest of the division, but it wouldn't surprise me if this team did take a step back or two, just because of how much energy they had to exert in the bubble. So the Heat, number 1 team there in the Southeast Division.
Yeah, Avery Bradley was a big pickup for them too. I think.
Yeah.
He can knock down a shot consistently, but he's going to be big for them defensively, man, at the other end. He's similar. He does the same, like you were talking about in the season preview. He does the same kind of things as Jay Crowder. Yeah. Obviously not the same size guy, but he does the same. He kind of brings the same type of thing to the table. So, solid pickup for sure there.
Yes. So let's go through these. Let's go through now. We've had a chance to go through the divisions. Let's just rank them 1 through 10 really quick. Let's go through the rankings and then note anything surprise or not. Like if there's any surprises in our rankings, I'll let you go ahead and start. But before that, let's see what Ajax is talking, man. He said, as a Heat fan, I'm not making any hot takes until I see how we play the first couple weeks. And I think that's a smart move, man, because this Heat team, you know, you want to say that they're automatically going to be there at the top 3, top 4, but they had to earn it last year. This was only a top 5 team for most of the season. True. And I think that this is just a locked-in team that probably played a little bit better than they normally are. So this Heat team didn't really make a whole lot of additions. They secured their guys. But that's a good point, my man. Ajax 9 Miami, that's a good point that you don't want to take anything too extreme, whether saying they're going to repeat and go back to the finals or take a step back until you see this team play.
It's going to be a long road, man. It's going to be a long road for sure.
Indeed it is. All right, Will, go ahead and start off. You got your top 10?
In the East, are we doing East or West?
Let's start East and then let's go West since we kind of skipped over.
West?
We did West, we did East. Let's go back to the West.
So starting at number 10?
Starting number 10, working our way up.
Number 10. So we're assuming there's a bubble again, and there's 10 teams in the bubble. So I'm saying like, these teams are going into the bubble. So I got the Pelicans at number 10.
Pelicans at number 10, man. Okay. I got the Jazz at number 10.
Okay. So they're in the bubble. That's a tough team to beat, man.
I got them in the bubble. Just missing the secure spot. I got them in the bubble, but I think it's going to be a tough out, man, no matter what.
Yeah. So I got number 9. I got the Grizzlies.
Oh, the Grizz. I got the Grizz completely out of the playoffs. Wow. At number 9, I got the New Orleans Pelicans.
Okay. So I think I know. I think I know who's coming up next for you. At number 8, I have the Jazz.
Ooh, okay. Number 8, I got the Houston Rockets.
Wow. Okay.
Houston Rockets, number 8.
Number 7, I got the Rockets.
Number 7, I got the Phoenix Suns.
Damn. So there's a team I'm surprised that's creeping up right now. They're in my
Man,
mind. They're creeping up.
for me
So
or on your side?
On your side.
Okay.
Number 6, I have the Clippers.
Whoo, you got the Clippers at number 6?
Oh yeah.
Man,
I put them at number
huge
3. I put them
drop.
at number 3 in the Pacific, so they got to be down at number 6.
Man, okay. Number 6, I got the Portland Trailblazers.
Damn. All right, number 5, the Dallas Mavericks.
Dallas Mavericks. Yep, and the one we agree on. I got the Dallas
all right,
Mavericks at number 5 as well.
All right. Number 4, the Portland Trailblazers.
You got them up there, man.
Yeah.
You got them up there. Number 4.
Like
Oh my gosh, you're not leaving off who I think you're leaving off, are you?
Oh yeah.
Oh no way.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised they're still on your.
Number 4, I got the Clippers.
Wow, bro.
Yes. No way. You're leaving them off your list completely?
Yes, completely.
No way. If you are, man, because this is my number 3 team, I'm just going to let it know right now. If you're a Warriors fan, unload on Will in the comments right now. You got them out of the playoffs?
Yep.
No way this team's out the playoffs, man. There's no way. With Steph Curry, the way that team's built and coached, there's no way. Not even in the bubble. There's no way, man. Hey, if you're a Warrior fan watching this, unload in the comments, man.
You heard it here first, man. Well, we'll have to circle back around to this at the end of the year.
We gotta circle back. There's you got the Warriors out of the playoffs complete, out of the bubble?
Out of the bubble. They're not.
That's insane,
they're not
bro.
They're not a top 10 team.
No way at all.
No, sir.
I got them number 3. There's no way they missed the bubble.
All right.
There's no way.
All right, you got me number 3. I got the Suns.
You got the Suns at number 3.
Suns at number 3.
Holy shit, bro, that's crazy to me. Oh man, if Steph Curry misses the bubble, that team misses the bubble, that'd be a massive, massive disappointment. I think there'd have to be a major injury for that to occur. At number 2, I got the Los Angeles Lakers, and I'm a diehard bleed purple and gold Laker fan. I got them at number 2 this year just because I think the back-to-backs are going to be a problem. I think that the rest is going to be an issue. Lakers at number 2 for me.
Yeah, I got the Lakers at number 2 too as well. I don't think they care about where they land in the standings this year.
Yeah.
So I think I got them at number 2. And then what's your number 1?
Obviously, got to go Denver Nuggets, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tough team. I think they won it too.
Yeah.
I think this Denver Nuggets team, I think they won it. I think that MPJ kind of takes the next step. And that's really, I think that's what I'm betting on, at least by picking him number 1. I think that Michael Porter Jr. is going to take that next step and become a superstar in this league.
Yeah, I think we're thinking along the same lines. Like being the number 1 seed would mean something to them, but I don't think it means anything to the Lakers. I don't think they care at all, bro. Like
they're the best team. I think that, I'll say that. I'll say what I was going to say. I was going to say something, but I'll save it. Nuggets at number 1. Nuggets at number 1. And before we get to the East, reminder, we're coming out with new shows. Just Who Talk Network. If you're paying attention right now, new shows starting up here very soon. Will's going to be talking rookies with the show The Rooks. I'm going to be talking cap or facts. And we're talking truth and lies here in the NBA storylines. Make sure to tune in to Just Who Talk Network for our new shows coming up. Let's get to this Eastern Conference. Eastern Conference. Man, if it's anything like the West, I can't wait to see who you left off, man. Who's your number 10?
All right, number 10, I have the Orlando Magic.
Orlando Magic. Whoo, okay. Number 10. Yeah. Number 10, I got the Indiana Pacers. All the way down to number 10. Yeah.
Wow. They were top 5 last year.
They were top 5 last year.
Top 5. They didn't really lose anything. And you got them all the way down.
I got them sinking, man. I just think that some of these other teams are creeping up. They're creeping up.
Yeah. All right. Number 9, I have the Wizards.
Washington at number 9?
Yes.
Oh, man.
The East, honestly, like the East was hard. The East was tougher than I thought, bro. It was really tougher to put these teams. I thought, the East, whatever. I was surprised.
Dude, I feel like it's like you can go between the 5 and 10 seeds and almost interchange them and not be wrong. Like if you rank them that way, it's like, I can see your point. But like, I just feel like there's not a lot of room for like just a whole lot of difference between the teams. Number 9, I got the Orlando Magic. I think that the Orlando Magic get in there. They're just outside the bubble. I think they probably missed the playoffs, but I got the Orlando Magic at number 9.
Okay. At number 8, I have the Toronto Raptors.
Ditto. Number 8, I got the Toronto Raptors as well. I think it's a good team. Just with these other teams coming in there hot, man, I think it's tough for them to make a secure spot in the top 4 teams. I just don't see it happening again this year.
Yeah, I think I look at these teams. I'm looking like 4 through 10 is probably going to be 5 to maybe 8 or 9 game difference between these teams, man.
It's going to be a dart throw, dude. Like, we could be right about the team and still be wrong on the seeding just because it's going to be a shorter season. And it's just, that seeding is just going to be really tough this year for these teams. Number 7, I got the Washington Wizards. I think Russell Westbrook is better than people give him credit for. Hall of Fame player, and I'm sure he might mess it up when the playoff time comes. But I like what Westbrook's going to bring to this team, and I think they already have a solid setup there in Washington.
Yeah. Number 7, I have the 76ers.
Okay.
We talked about that earlier. I had number 4 in the Atlantic, so I think they're dropping down this year. They still have enough talent to make the playoffs. It's hard to see them not being in the playoffs, but I got them at number 7.
Okay. Number 7. That's not bad. Hey, and for everybody who's there, live streaming with us, we appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to drop your comments. We appreciate the support. If you guys have input or want us to talk about anything beforehand, let us know. We're going to finish this up, get into some awards, and that's going to be it for this one. So appreciate you guys tuning in, and we're having fun doing this.
Oh, yeah.
At number 6, I got the Philadelphia 76ers.
Okay.
I like this team, man.
Pretty similar spots. At number 6, I have the Hawks.
Okay.
Hawks at number 6.
The Hawks, I got a number 5. So we're like 1 seed off on everything right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Number 5, I have the Pacers. So.
So you got them. That's our big one there. So from the West, it was the Warriors. On here, it's the Pacers.
Yeah, the Pacers.
Okay. At number 4, I got the Celtics.
I have the exact same thing.
Boston Celtics, number 4.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm really interested to see who you got coming up now.
Okay.
I know who you got coming up. I'm interested to see the order. I'm really interested to see the order.
Okay. Number 3, Miami Heat.
Okay. Got it. Same.
Miami 3, number Heat. You got same?
Same.
All right, so here it is. Number 1, number 2. Number 2, I got the Milwaukee Bucks. Wow. Number 1, I got the Brooklyn Nets. Number 1 overall.
I have the Nets at number 2 and the Bucks at number 1. The only reason I'm doing that is I think they might not throw Kate. I think they're going to give KD rest at times this year.
Yeah, that's true too.
I think we're going to see some rest, but I think they're the best team. I think they're the best team in the East. Who do you think is the best team in the league? Because I know you were hinting towards that. I got them as the best team in the East. The Nets are the best team in the East, even though they're not going to be number 1. I think they're the best team. Who's the best team in the league?
Yeah, and I think so. We're going to talk about the best team in the West, best team in the East. So you got the best team in the East and the Nets. I agree, actually. I think the Nets are the best team in the East. This team is too talented, man. Yeah. I think it would take something. They're gonna have some tough matchups though, because this East is no joke. They're gonna have some tough matchups. But Nets are the team to beat, I think, in the East. And Beanie Carr Sports, man, I think he agrees with us too. He says the Nets right now, the favorite coming out of the East.
Yeah.
This team, man, it's a hard team to beat because they're deep. It's just the depth. So even if Kyrie goes out, even if KD goes out, they got players who can come in and all-star caliber players and not miss a beat. That's crazy, man. And for the Western Conference, we both had Nuggets as number 1. Who's the best team in the West?
The Lakers are the best team in the West, for sure.
Yeah.
Lakers are the best team. Overall, just depth, experience. 2 best players in the world right now until we really see KD and what he's all about.
Yeah.
They're the 2 best teams in the world. So I think the question becomes now, I know you kind of hinted towards it, so I wanna pull it out of you. Who's the best team in the league?
Best team in the league? Gotta stay with my Lakers, man. I was gonna go Nets. Best team in the league is the Lakers, though. And I think that the Nuggets, I had them as my number 1 team in the West, but the Lakers are still the best team in the league, man. I think the Nuggets are the strongest number 2 team that you can see, though, because I could interchange them. I think the Nuggets are very underrated. They're super deep, and this team's going to be competitive. If the Lakers don't win the championship, I think the Nuggets will win the championship.
Damn. I think the only team that could beat the Nets would be the Lakers. And the only reason I think is because of experience and because of just LeBron, right? Like
Yeah,
he's the X factor. Because I think KD has a huge chip on his shoulder, bro. Like I think it's something
man.
you can almost see it when he's on the court. Like, damn, what's on your shoulder, bro? Like
Yeah.
KD, he like I heard someone saying something about this. Like he was pissed after he won his championship and LeBron was still considered the best player in the world. Like he wants to be that dude, and he's very, very motivated to prove that. And so we're gonna see a great version of KD. The thing with KD is like every time I watch him play, I'm like, "You be careful, bro. Like, yo, come
Yeah.
on, dude. Like, take it easy, dog. Don't get hurt, bro. Like,
I got I got the Lakers. I think the Lakers can beat the Nets, man. I just don't think that I think that there's no way that they can go through like with that team. They've already been through a championship run.
yeah,
There's a lot of this will be the first time for most of the Nets players.
yep,
Even though KD's been there and Kyrie's been there, this will still be a lot of the first time. So for me, the Lakers over the Nets, I feel like that would be probably the finals if I had to pick right now. Lakers Nets 2021 NBA Finals. Our man Beanie Car Sports again agrees with this, but he thinks the Nets will beat the Lakers. He said they're too much talent, man. I couldn't disagree more. I think that the Lakers just have the pieces. When you have the problem I can see that would happen is the big. Anthony Davis versus KD. And I think before it was KD on LeBron. You're not going to see that this time. So if they match up, now what's the matchup? Who's going to guard AD and who's going to guard LeBron? You can only put KD on one of them.
yeah, yeah. I think you said the biggest difference is going to be the other guys. The other guys for the Lakers have that experience. The KCPs, the Carusos, those guys coming off the bench. Those guys have that championship experience. They have the experience in the bubble. That's going to be the biggest difference maker. Like as much as I like Karis LeVert coming off the bench, he's Karis LeVert coming off the bench.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he hasn't really done as much as some of these other guys that the Lakers have that championship level experience. Even the guys that they picked up, like Marc Gasol, championship experience. Like man.
It's a mindset thing too. Like
Yeah.
you saw with the Heat, man, it's really a mindset. And so when you've been through that experience, you've gone through it, say it's an extended bubble like it is this year and we don't get a vaccine and we're in a COVID situation, like that's going to be a lot for these teams that haven't done it. Even for KD, like he didn't have to go through the bubble. Kyrie didn't have to go through the bubble. We already talked about chemistry issues. We talked about if things weren't going to go right. What's going to happen with those guys' mindsets when they get in there? If they're able to overcome those things, I think you're right. The Nets can do it. But this unique scenario, if we have to go back to another bubble, the Nets, I'm not sure that they have – I think they're the most talented team in the East, but that might be the breaking point for this team.
No, I think the biggest challenge, honestly, for the Lakers is going to be the Nuggets, man, in the West.
Man.
It's going to be tempting. It's going to be really tempting for them to look past the Nuggets, right?
Yeah.
They know the Nets are coming. They know that KD LeBron matchup is coming. It's on the horizon. You cannot overlook the Nets. They're going to be you cannot overlook the Nuggets. That's going to be a problem for them. I
wanted to pick them as the number one seed. I wanted to pick them, but like it was hard for me because the team, even as a Laker fan, without being a Laker fan, just the Nuggets on paper to me look like a really good basketball team, and they're deep and they're young, they're experienced now. Like it's a certain combination of hungry, young, and deep that makes that team, and well coached too, which we'll get into here in a minute. So let us know, what do you guys think? What's your finals pick? Drop it in the comments. We're going to pick our awards and get out of here for this episode. We got a couple awards. Let's start with the Sixth Man of the Year award. This award last year was won by Montrezl Harrell and has been won by Lou Williams many times. Who you got as your Sixth Man of the Year?
This one's hard because I don't know who's coming off the bench or where that would be, but I have Bogey coming in off the bench. For the Nets. I feel like he's starting to kind of fill out his role there. So I think that's going to be a good spot for him. I think he's going to come off the bench, and I think he'll win Sixth Man of the Year.
It's funny. I think we're thinking the same thing. We just don't know the player that's coming off. I had Danilo Gallinari as the Sixth Man of the Year for
who's coming off
for
the bench
Hawks.
There, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So if it's Danilo, I think that they get a good scorer. They get somebody who can come in and shoot the ball really well, give them good points off the bench. I got Danilo. Coach of the Year. Who you got for Coach of the Year?
I think you probably we might have the same one, maybe. But I have Mike Malone finally getting the recognition he
Man,
deserves, man.
we gotta stop talking to each other, man.
I know. But I think, I think he's, he's been ridiculed a lot over the years, man. Was getting, I don't know, man. I wish he was still here in Sacramento. That was such a raw deal for him. But I think he's finally going to get the recognition he deserves in Denver.
Yeah, I like Mike Malone too. I think that he's going to win Coach of the Year this year. I think he's going to do an awesome job with this Denver Nuggets team. Obviously, we talked about it at length. Obviously, don't sleep on Steve Nash, man, as a sleeper Coach of the Year candidate. If he's able to do some damage there in Brooklyn with the Nets, that could be a sneaky Coach of the Year candidate this year. Last two, we're going to do a Rookie of the Year and MVP. So, Will, there's a lot of good rookies in here, a lot of exciting rookies. Obviously, we saw Anthony Edwards go number one. Who you got for Rookie of the Year?
I have LaMelo Ball going number one. I think just the excitement around him, the anticipation, man, everything he does is a big deal.
Yeah.
The highlights, he's going to be on SportsCenter probably every single night. I think he's just going to get so much more attention than every other rookie. So I don't know if his stats will be better than every other rookie, but he's going to get the attention. He's going to get the accolades. So I think it's going to end up being LaMelo.
LaMelo Ball. I do not have LaMelo Ball. I have James Wiseman coming in and making a strong impact for this Golden State Warriors team. I don't think he's an all-star player this year, like super changing the game, but I do see like a 12 and 8 type of impact from James Wiseman, probably getting a couple blocks in there. So I think he'll be a nice addition to this team as their third, maybe fourth piece behind Steph, Dre, and potentially Kelly Oubre or Andrew Wiggins. I like what James Wiseman will bring to the table there for the Warriors.
So,
last but not least, man, I didn't realize I was going this direction. MVP. But who you got for MVP? The last
Paul George.
One.
No,
never Paul George. Nope.
No.
So there was a few years where he was playing like MVP level too, which is crazy to think about.
Unreal. That's a good pick, man. Beanie, what's it? Beanie Car Sports. He's got Curry.
Beanie Car.
Yeah. He's got Curry.
Beanie Car Sports.
That's a good one, man. But I think this is a big deal for this guy, and he wants this award probably more than anyone else, and that is Kevin Durant. And I got Kevin Durant winning the MVP. I think one thing that might be an issue is just playing time. Or usage time and how much they're using him and how much they're sitting him or resting him and all that type of stuff. But I think KD is going to be extremely motivated this year. He looks great, man. He looks incredible in the preseason. So that's my pick, man. That's what I got.
All right. Well, my guy, Beanie Car Sports is on to something because I got Steph Curry winning MVP.
Damn.
Beanie Car Sports, man, you're on it. Steph Curry, I think, is going to win MVP this year. And it's not because I think that he's the best player in basketball, but he's going to have the most on his shoulders. He's going to play at that level. We saw him play at when he won the MVP. There was another pick that I had that was really close to this, and I like Damian Lillard as well to be a sneaky MVP candidate. I know everybody has Luka, everybody has just some of your regular guys there, but I think that Damian Lillard is a very sneaky pick to win MVP this year. But I got Steph Curry you know what's funny is I had Steph Curry as my MVP last year, and he hurt himself. Remember that? The predictions. I had Steph Curry as MVP last year. I think he returns to form this year.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Steph. Like, I'm a big Steph fan. As much as I know people are like, what is this dude talking about? I like Steph, and I hope for the best for him. I don't
They're
see it this year.
They're going to be higher than the 10 seed, dog. They're going to be higher than the 10 seed, dog.
I don't see it this year, but I don't know, man.
We'll see, man.
I got KD. I think he's going to really step up this year.
I think he will too, and I think it'll be exciting to see the return of KD, Kyrie kind of showing out, doing their thing, man. And I'm excited for this season, man. It seems like it's going to be a really fun season, a lot of competition. There's a lot of tough teams too, and obviously injury makes things go a different way. This season, COVID might make things go a different way too, just depending on who has to sit out. I think players sit out for like 2 weeks if they test positive, so that might change some things, missing 5 or 6 games. But man, I think that this season's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun.
Yes, it is.
Let us know what you guys think, man. You guys agree with our take? Do you guys agree with our standings? Fight us in the comments. We'll talk back. Make sure you're checking out for our new shows coming up. We got the Rooks. We got Cap or Facts. This is going to be a fun season. We're willing to talk with you guys. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're not subscribing to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Just Hoop Talk. Season preview in the books, man. We're out.
Peace.